Welcome, good evening. Welcome to City of Opalacka Regular Commission Meeting. We welcome you back from the summer break. It is Wednesday, September 14th. The time is 7:04. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
I'm here.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
I'm here. Please stand. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements at this time?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have the City of Opalacka Employee of the Month recognition.
Okay, I know we had our police chief, Scott Israel, was going to present some police awards, but they had to leave. So we will now invite the Code Enforcement Director, Ms. Wilma Wilcox, to the podium to present the Employee of the Month Award. Can we turn? Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. Okay, I am here to present a token of my appreciation from me and the City of Opalacka to Mr. Cook on his accomplishments and the things that he has actually brought to the department in a positive way. Along with the many accomplishments, Mr. Cook was able to maintain order for 1.5 years, patrolling the city by himself. He's issued just this month alone. This year alone, 1,615 notices of violation to residents and business owners this year. Due to his aggressive enforcement, residential zones have been free for most part of the commercial vehicles in the residential zones. It has decreased, drastically. He is responsible for over 30 of our commercial businesses throughout the city being painted because of the beautification project that we were involved in. He was very instrumental in our license task force over the years, bringing in millions of dollars due to non-compliance and our ability to bring them into compliance with payment and complying and abating the violations. He has been a stellar employee the entire tenure with full dedication and passion. With that being said, I present to Mr. Cook our token of appreciation from the City of Opalacka.
Madam Mayor, at this time, we'd like to invite the entire commission to present the award to Mr. Cook.
You gotta stand with your thing.
Okay.
Facing.
Thank you, sir.
I can stand right here.
We go to the next. Oh. I'd like to call Chief Israel to the stand for the next presentation and award from the commission. Hi, Mayor.
Sir, commission, we should have more folks here and I'm hoping they'll come back. Very proud about.
On the mic, please, Chief.
We had a shooting a little while ago. That's what we all ran out for. One individual was shot in the leg with non-life threatening injuries. Two subjects are under arrest and our guys are going, what's that? Amen. And so the scene's safe, no problems, but that's what they're doing now. So I apologize that they're not here, but the captain's here and I want to go forward, sir. Where's my? So we did an event at Glorietta Apartments. We basically wanted to come together with the community. That's what I'm all about. One team, one fight. So we were having we had all our department heads there. So many of it. Mr. Austin was there and King was there, Miss Wilmer and everybody else. And we just wanted to give everybody our number, one-stop shop if you need us. So it was a really, really good event. And Vice Mayor Taylor was there and Commissioner Bass were there. We were all hanging out, true story. And all of a sudden we're saying goodbye to each other on a sunny afternoon. And then there's a foot chase and what have you. And Captain Rogers and I couldn't believe what was going on, but I'm going to read what happened. If I may, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So on Sunday, September 12th, no, that wrong one on that one. Okay. On Friday, September 2nd, 2022, many of the city's department heads, along with Vice Mayor Taylor and Commissioner Bass, were gathered at the Glorietta Guarded Apartments for a community event. Shortly upon wrapping up the event, Detective Sergeant Alvarado, Detective Rosero, and Detective Vital from the Street Crimes Unit received a tip that a hand-to-hand narcotics transaction had just taken place within the complex. As the detectives approached a group of male subjects loitering about in the common area, one of the individuals was observed covering the front waistband area of his pants and then quickly turned to run. The subject was instructed to stop. He ignored the warnings and directives of the detectives and fled towards one of the building hallways, eventually running out to the parking lot. As the subject approached the parking lot, Officer Darren Shiverden from the Community Policing Unit, remember that, Officer Darren Shiverden from the Community Policing Unit, showing that we're all working together, it's all one team, observed the suspect reach from his waistband, produce a firearm, and throw it underneath a parked vehicle. After discarding the firearm, the suspect gave up and was subsequently taken into custody by the Street Crimes Unit detectives. After being secured, the subject admitted to being in possession of the firearm. The subject later determined that the subject did not reside at the Glorietta Garden Apartments. What's to this community, what was so important was the firearm, for those of you who might not know a lot about firearms, was a Ruger 57. And I showed the bullets to our commission, which meant the bullets, the bullets were similar to that of a rifle. a high-powered rifle. That's the kind of bullets. This was a devastating weapon. The subject had a history of guns and violence. The subject's in jail. He's charged with a plethora of charges, and due to the work of, hey, Darren, I was just reading about you. Darren Shiverton, Detective Vital, Detective Rosero, and now Captain Alvarado. It is my distinct honor to say that our city manager, Mr. Williams, and the staff have selected these brave folks as employees of the month. Mayor?
Well, what can we say? We have the top-notch police department in all, I'm gonna say the world, right? So we're so excited and we're grateful for this.
Captain Alvarado, would you first, Mayor?
Doesn't he look handsome? I didn't even recognize him. I went outside, I was like, I'm like, who is that? It's like, wow. Looks great. Okay.
There's two more that are out of this year.
Okay. I'll just stop button. So we would like to present the Employee of the Month certificate in honor of outstanding performance. And we honor Mr. Darren Shiverton as the Employee of the Month for September 2022. And our next Employee of the Month certificate is presented to outstanding performance. We honor Mr. Hugo Alvarado. Thank you all so much. So once again, we thank all of our employees, all of our city employees. Give a round of applause for all of Opalacka city employees. Absolutely outstanding job that you do day, night, weekends. So we thank you. Madam Clerk. Sorry, members of the commission, do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions from the consent agenda?
I like to pull.
Okay. Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes. I like to pull number 1, number 5, number 6, and number 7.
Okay, please make note that 1, 5, 6 and 7 has been pulled. Are there any other pulls from the consent agenda? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve. the
Motion
agenda.
to approve. Can I have a second?
Move it.
Move.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Second.
Is there, Madam Clerk? Are there two items I'm looking at?
Madam Mayor, I do have a request to amend the agenda.
Yes, that's all. Okay.
This is a request to amend the agenda as follows. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, directing the interim city manager to budget $15,000 for fiscal year 2022-2023 for an annual Hispanic Opa-locka festival. Further directing the interim city manager to seek funding opportunities and establish partnerships for additional funding, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This item is sponsored by Vice Mayor Taylor, and this will be added as 14-1.
Okay. What? Can I have a motion to move with the added item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
I need a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes for June 22nd, 2022.
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Need a motion to move the regular commission meeting minutes for July 13th, 2022.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Need a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes for July 27th, 2022.
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Need a motion to move the special commission meeting minutes, July 28th, 2022.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any District 1 or District 2 County Commissioner reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any public presentations?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have one public presentation, the Florida Department of Transportation, who will be joining virtually. And their presentation will be on a project on Northwest 135th Street, Northwest 136th Street from Northwest 30th Avenue to Northwest 27th Avenue.
Great. Are we ready?
Give me a minute. Hector D. Donato.
Okay. Mr. Hector D. Donato, if you are ready, we are ready for the presentation.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm gonna present a short slide of two slides to show the project. It's gonna be pretty quick. Let me see if I can show my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so I'm just going to be very brief. This is a project on 135th and 136 from Northwest 30th Avenue and 27th Avenue. We will be holding our public meeting next week on September 21st at 6 p.m. at the Sherbondi Village. So I invite all of you to attend if possible. We have sent the invite through the mailer to the residents and to the city. So my name is Hector, and I have my engineer of record in the call as well. But so the reason of our project is, and the biggest stake of a project is that we are trying to shift the Opa-locka Boulevard on 27th Avenue west. As you can see in the image, on the left side is the existing conditions, and on the right side is the proposed conditions. The reason for this change is to improve the intersection. There are many accidents that are happening on this intersection due to the long left turn the residents have to do. So we are in the process of the earliest stages of the design, and we're seeking commission approval for this change. We are not closing the access, we are shifting to the left, to the west. As you can see in the images, this has been presented to the Director of Public Works and the city manager, and I'm sure that some of you might have seen it already. And we would like to share more information to whoever needs it, but ultimately my needs are to get a city resolution for approval and also the approval on an off-system agreement. The Department of Transportation will cover all the funds for this improvement, but we will need your acknowledgement as portion of this work falls within a city road. So I will be sending the information to Mr. Area to be processed, and hopefully next meeting we will seek approval. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
Okay, do we have any questions from the commission at this time?
Only one quick question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
Mr. Hector, how long will the project take place and when do you plan on starting? Once
Okay,
approved.
the entire project takes approximately 200 days, and it's supposed to start on the summer of 2024 or early 2024, like a springtime. It depends. We still have about a year to go, a little bit more than a year.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hector,
Uh-huh.
will the project in question, how much will it impact traffic? Will most of the work happen, let's say overnight? What's that plan?
Yes, we will explain all those details to residents next week, but yes, all the work happens during non-peak hours, and the major reconstruction work will take place during the nighttime, and we will provide detours for all the residents in the area. Also, keep in mind that businesses and residents will have access at all times. We will not restrict access. So, and we have already been informing, especially the nearby businesses, such as the gas stations and the body shops in the area, that they will have access, and they've been positive of the change. So they are in agreement and they like the new upcoming changes.
Any other comments from the commission? Okay, thank you so much. We're excited to see this happening in our city. We're probably going to say about time. So we're glad to see this project happening so that the improvement of the road is going to better all of us. So thank you so much, Mr. Donato.
Thank you. I will be sending the request for the resolution, so hopefully next meeting can be approved.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Madam Clerk, can you please read into the record the participation for a citizens forum?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. City of Opalacka Commission meetings are held in person at Sherbondi Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opalacka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalackafl.gov. When speaking before the city commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is a part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/users/city of Opalacka. And Madam Mayor, at this time, we do not have any virtual public comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is open.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Brian Dennis, address 2140 York Street. That information that that you're about to receive was in my email today. Whoever forwarded it to me, for some odd reason, I don't even know who those people are. I will investigate it and find out what's going on. Because if any of that information is true, there's a double standard that's being presented. When the double standard, what I mean by the double standard, everybody was so eager to fire Mr. Pate when all the foolishness was going on in the police department. This is a travesty. And if that is the case, with all these allegations into both of these emails that was sent to the clerk's office from concerned citizens, then there needs to be a change. There seriously needs to be a change. Came to the planning and zoning board meeting last night. And there seems to be, in my opinion, a deliberate act of not including 95-6 in any of the projects that's going on. Any of them. The projects that's getting ready to be erected up on the old flea market grounds has no citizen participation. The board talks to the very same individuals that Mr. Wright fired. He should have fired him, but he fired him wrong. You see, when you deliberately know something and you deliberately not do it, then that's cause. That means you're raising your middle fingers up to the citizens of Opalacka saying that you don't care. Because pretty much one of the members of the planning council said that last night. So if every project that comes in, and let me reiterate what I'm talking about, 95-6, that any project that comes into the city of Opalacca, whether it's construction, new business, whatever, it's supposed to hire the residents, not black, not white, not Hispanic, residents. I would almost guarantee you, as I said to them last night, if I went inside Murphy or 7-Eleven, that the majority of the citizens that work there are not a part of the Opalacka population. So now here we have community development, which knows this. And I done brought this up on several occasions. And the gentleman both said it last night, that every time he brings it up, they looking at him like, oh, here you go again. Well, it's a law. It's not a resolution. It's an ordinance that was voted on by the people, and it needs to be enforced. It needs to be enforced. So the light rail that's getting ready to be put up over there, guess what needs to happen during the construction period? The citizens need to be involved in that. Now, when I came in here with transition a few months ago, there were some commissioners and the former mayor had their nose thumbed up at me because you're looking at me. So let me tell you who I really am. I'm the boot camp coordinator for transition in Miami-Dade County. I have boot campers in my platoon from the city of Opalacka, 6. The very same boot campers whose relatives and parents that you're going to go out and ask them to vote for you.
Thank you. Your time. Thank you so much. Citizens Forum is open.
Good evening, Commission. Tarani Mitchell, 14225 Northwest 22nd Place. I just want to say thank you for the police department for coming out to Siegel Park because there are several people, as I indicated, basically living there and doing drugs on the park. So I want to thank the police department, Sheriff Israel, for having the police out on guard and also coming when the calls are coming in for them breaking in the buildings, messing with the lights and so forth, because when there's no lights there, it's very dark. Also, I came previously to ask if you guys can contact someone about the train tracks on 22nd Avenue. It hasn't gotten any better. I haven't gotten any feedback or anything. Every time the meetings come, you guys say someone will contact you afterwards or whatever. We used to get answers right then or whatever. 3 times I've gotten a response back the day of the meeting, once, one day before. This is something that needs not to wait because the city of Opalacka is going to start paying for cars. The tracks are getting worse. I haven't seen anyone did anything to the tracks. They're sinking more, along with the potholes that are still in the city, because Saturday, my son went through one of the streets and flat his tire for having a pothole in the street. I have another question. On a couple of months ago, there was a commission meeting and it was indicating that there was monies available for citizens that were senior citizens to have their houses painted if they need ramps or whatever it is, the money was available for citizens. Haven't heard anything else about it. Haven't seen an advertisement. Haven't seen a flyer sent in the mail, nowhere. How are these seniors supposed to know that this money is available for them to get assistance if it's not advertised? Again, every senior is not on social media. Everything shouldn't be on social media when it's pertaining to the residents. Okay, yes, that is one of the advertisement ways, but we need to find out better than just Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We need paper. A lot of the people take their letters or a reminder, stick it on their refrigerator, stick it on their mirrors. That's something that they would remember as being a senior, because I know my mom does it. So we need to get better about that. Also, our kids in the city of Opalacka. We know that this is election time. And if anybody is out to these parks on practice days, game day, you know our kids are here to win. The Booster Club has been told they can't sell on the park. You guys know the money goes to the kids. So we want to know if the city of Opalacka is going to be available when these kids go to championship. We need money. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens forum is open.
Chris Roberts, 640 Dunad Avenue. I'm giving my 3 minutes to Dennis.
So what I was saying, the very same boot campers, parents and relatives, you are now going to go out and ask them for their vote. And what do you think I'm going to do? All of that money that I raised for my campaign, now that I'm in school, I'm going to use it wisely. And I'm going to use it in the PAC. And I'm going to be, I'm telling you what I am going to do. And everybody that stood against those kids looking at me and being pissed off with me for no apparent reason, I'm going to make sure, I don't care if you win, lose, or draw, I'm coming after you personally. It's never personal with me, but it's personal now. When you've never been locked up and you don't understand how it feels to change your life and have a person to give you an opportunity, you will now begin to see how it feels. Oh, there's somebody on the dais that know I got it too. So now let me say this. Gonna have new faces up here. Gonna have 4 new faces sitting up on this dais. And if it goes the way it needs to go, playground really gonna be 5. The shameful display to take a picture with some kids that you really don't give nothing, that you don't care nothing about, to make it seem like you are doing something when you are really doing nothing. Been up here 4 years. Why they put you back up here? It's beyond me. Made Commissioner Dominguez have to go through an application process to get back up here, but y'all just threw her back up here. Just threw her back up here. And if you're gonna give money to a commissioner being on the dais, then you should have gave money to everybody that's running. I take my job seriously. I take those young men and those young women seriously. Because somebody gave me an opportunity to change my life. So when I'm dealing with individuals that has an opportunity to change their life, what do you think that I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help them change their life. And anybody that stands in the way of that, I could care 2 cents about you. I've never advocated for anybody being fired or anything like that, but I will tell you this day, I will do it. I will do it and I don't care. And if the manager needs to go, Ms. Lawson could be your manager. She's been here through every other manager that don't came and gone, and she grew up in the city of Opalacka, so she knows it well.
Citizens forum is open.
.2010 Washington Avenue. Now, I've been here, coming to every meeting, watching every meeting that goes on. Y'all doing a very good job. The city have never came so far in the talent. As a manager, you're doing an excellent job. Staff is happy. I go and deal with my plans. I look at the administration, the police department is doing things. I don't give a damn what they say. You understand? Because you're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, right now you can't move nothing like they used to be able to move now. That's why the problem is out here. It ain't because y'all doing a bad job. You're doing it because nobody can move nothing. You know, nobody can do nothing they ain't got no business doing. Keep doing what y'all do. I've never seen staff so happy in my life. I have never seen the police department doing so much in my life. You understand? This is what I've seen with my own eyes. Do what y'all do. Ain't nothing gonna change in here. Nothing's gonna change if people new coming here. You stay right there where you at because you're moving the city forward. The city's not going backwards. We're doing green homes and the other I'm doing. You allow me to do it? And this would never happen in the old administration. It would never happen because they don't give a damn. Y'all care. Y'all care and you're moving forward. So don't have to worry about nobody. Do what you're doing, Mr. Manager. You are the best manager I've seen. That's literally moving this city and staff. These people are happy. Look at them. Go upstairs, go walk around this place. You ain't got to worry about nothing. As long as I'm here, I'm being independent on how I'm doing and running money like I run, you will not go nowhere because I will fight. It ain't happening. Keep moving forward. When you leave on your own. Ain't nobody gonna cross you to leave. You're not playing part that you're trying to do the right thing. Some people mad with you. That's life. But just keep moving this city forward to help these poor people. Cubans, blacks, whites, just moving forward. I've never seen the police department the way they are. I've been watching. I've been observing. Taylor, do what you're doing. Bass, do what you're doing. Miss Veronica, be brutal like you are. You stop them in the track like you be doing. Do what y'all doing. Try to work with each other and make the same regime come back. You understand? Make it work because right now, the state don't have no issues. Nobody has no issues. Just people who trying to do things they got no business doing.
Citizens forum is open. Citizens forum is closed. Madam Attorney, can you read the item 13.1 into record from the consent agenda?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, authorizing a code enforcement lien amnesty program for all code enforcement liens to allow property owners with outstanding code enforcement violations to pay a reduced amount after meeting certain eligibility requirements, providing for incorporation of recitals, provided for effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to discuss item 14.1 from the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the city has a history of having lien amnesty programs. And recently in negotiations with some homeowners, I went to reduce some of the fees, and upon reviewing the legislation, I realized that the time had lapsed on the authority of our amnesty program. It is my request that we bring that program back. It is highly useful for the city manager, for the city of Opalacka, for the reason that many of the properties that have daily fines or liens on them are in excess of the value of the property. So that gives the city manager no wiggle room, and it gives the homeowner no wiggle room for those homeowners that want to come forward of their own accord, not by request of the city, but want to come of their own accord to actually fix the issues with their property. So if we have homeowners that are coming forward to fix the issues with their properties, I think we need to have a program in place that allows the city manager to work with them so that we can beautify the city.
Any questions or discussion from the commission?
Madam Mayor?
Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes, the reason why I pulled this item is because I noticed that there was a resolution that passed June 20th, 2020. And of course, this is identical to the same. The only difference that I see is that it doesn't have a date. So which is missing part 6, and I know that the previous one had a end date. So is this gonna have a start and end date? And can we include it on this new resolution so we are aware that it's, different? Mr. Manager.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Manager.
that was intentional, Commissioner Dominguez. We never want to stop progress in the city, and we never want to tie the hands of a city manager that's looking to beautify the city. We actually had 2 homes that were ready to be redeveloped, ready to be beautified, really to be brought into compliance with our codes and our ordinance, if I had the authority as the city manager to address those. So it was intentional by not leaving an end date, so that we never have a city manager again looking forward to move forward and work with residents that can no longer do so. Should it be the will of the commission that this is a program that we no longer wish to partake in, of course, the item in the future can be rescinded, but it's my recommendation that we approve this legislation for future city managers with no end date.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor, can I ask the attorney if that's, can it be added? Is it something that should have an expiration date, or just for clarity?
Well, if you all, through the mayor, if you all decide to leave it in place permanently, the only drawback possibly could be that people just know that if they are in non-compliance for long enough, they always have the window to come back in. What a lot of cities do is they will reauthorize it year after year. You all have had this in place for a number of years. You seem to do it every year. That's what the legislation seems to reflect. But and that's consistent with some other cities, because what it does is people will look at the date and they'll think that they need to rush in and do something sooner than later. So that's obviously a, policy type decision, and your manager is recommending that you leave it permanently. But that, as I see it, would be the only drawback. People, won't really have as much meaning. But
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
through the mayor, I'd like to ask the attorney, how long has the current legislation been lapsed?
I don't know, but it looks like you had it in place last year, just based on the packet of information that you have. It was supposed to, it looks like it lapsed, if my memory serves me correctly in January of this year, perhaps. But what the managers do is, they will tickle it, like when John Pate was here, he did it, I think at least twice, and then it looks like it was done prior to that. So it could have been some months, but I don't know.
Madam Mayor, the previous first one, it says it ended through January 30th, 2021, so we really haven't had one. Last year, we didn't have one, so.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
thank you, Commissioner Dominguez. That is the date I recall that this legislation had already been lapsed for over a year. So to miss out on the funding opportunities to support our residents with beautifying their properties. One of them, I was able to tell them, I'm going to bring this item before they're able to wait. One of them lost their funding from the bank to actually support the development because this particular legislation has been lapsed for over a year. Again, it is my recommendation from an administrative standpoint that we leave this policy in place, considering the number of properties that we have with millions of dollars in fines. And we never want to see another resident in this predicament again. And as again, is the position of the city that we want to beautify these properties, not with administrative barriers.
Right. Anyone else? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Madam Attorney, please read into record consent agenda item 13.5.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to execute an agreement with ShotSpotter, Inc. for the provision of gunshot detection, location, and forensic analysis services, utilizing grant funding from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, an amount not to exceed $109,000 in the form attached hereto as Exhibit A, providing for incorporation recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to discuss agenda item 15.5?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The ShotSpotter program is a very, very important program that we spent some time debating whether or not the city of Opalacka was ready for the ShotSpotter program. It's something that Chief Israel opined on for some time. It's something I went back and forth on. At the end of the day, this is going to be funded by grant funding that we requested from the office of Congresswoman Frederica Wilson's office. We had a conversation with that office. They are fully committed to the city of Opalacka receiving continuing funding for this program. When we weighed the pros versus the cons, given the incident that even Commissioner Dominguez brought before the dais, where she stated that she heard gunshots, this would give us our police force the information necessary to direct them where those shots are coming from. So given the incredible job that our police force is currently doing, this is a tool that we've decided that they need in their toolbox, and that we're going to be utilizing funds from Congresswoman Frederica Wilson's office to help us fund this item. We also have in our here today, a major from Miami Gardens, Mr. Levers. I will lend floor time to him to discuss further the ShotSpotter program.
Good evening, everyone. Alfred Lewis, 4840 Northwest 55th Drive, Coconut Creek, Florida. To share with you, I retired as the Assistant Chief of Police in Miami Gardens back in 2016. I happened to have been the first person hired to help build the police department. We deployed ShotSpotter. Currently, I'm the Director of Customer Success at ShotSpotter with my colleagues, Dr. Keisha Fed. She's the Director of Customer Success assigned here to Opalacka, and Jason Silver, Director of Sales. I want to share with you that ShotSpotter is, in my opinion, the most effective public safety technology in existence. We've been around for a little over 26 years. We have deployments in over 130 cities across the United States. There's currently, I think, about 17 cities in the state of Florida with close to 50 square miles of coverage in Miami-Dade County, a little over 25 square miles in the unincorporated cities that Miami-Dade Police Department patrols, 4.5 square miles in the city of Miami Gardens. December will be 10 years that ShotSpotter has been in use in the city of Miami Gardens, as well as city of Miami, North Miami, and several other jurisdictions in Broward County, West Palm Beach, and other areas. ShotSpotter is not just gunshot detection. We help our customer cities with policy development, best practices, and not just knowing where gunfire is occurring, but helping them with strategies to address gun violence and save lives, as well as what we consider one of the most important components, connecting with the community. And when I say connecting with the community, I'm talking about primarily 80% of the time when guns are fired in communities, the police department isn't called. And unfortunately, that leads to a lack of trust in the police department. People are thinking that the police know and they don't show up because they don't care. But for different reasons, a normalization of gunfire, they don't show up. So when the police are now knowing 90% plus of the time that guns are being fired within 30 to 45 seconds, getting information, whether it's multiple shooters, high capacity, fully automatic engagements, moving shooters with direction of travel and speed, they can be more effective. Knocking on doors, leaving brochures, putting resources in those specific areas that are historically or recently impacted by gunfire. That's what ShotSpotter does in conjunction with the other evidence collection, links to other guns and other crimes. So that's the value of ShotSpotter. Hope I didn't go over the time you expected me to use, but with that, I and my colleagues can answer any other questions that you have.
Does anyone have any questions?
Well, I don't,
Oh,
yes, Madam Mayor.
yes.
Well, I'm not sure if it's, well, to the manager. I'm in agreement with this ShotSpotter. I mean, I do believe in it. I don't have a problem with it specifically because it's a grant that has been issued, but my only question is for the resolution number 5. I mean, is this going to be that we're gonna carry over the following year, that it's coming out of our budget? Or to maybe Mr. Manager, to Mr. Anathan, or are we gonna continuously apply for the grant where it pays for itself instead of coming out of our budget? That's my question.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Dominguez. Yes, as I stated before, my first week in office, we had a meeting with Congresswoman Frederica Wilson to see how she could support the city of Opalacka. This was an item that she was able to quickly pull down funding to secure for the city. This is our first year to engage the ShotSpotter program, and we do have the commitment, as stated, from the Office of Congresswoman Frederica Wilson to assist us to continue to get additional grant funding to cover this program. The challenge is, and this is what Chief Israel and I discussed, is that this contract is funded by this grant. So should we decide to not move forward with this contract, we will lose that grant and damage that relationship potentially with the Congresswoman's office, considering that we reached out to them for their support of our city and for the safety of our residents. So it's my strong recommendation that we move forward with the ShotSpotter program to provide our police with this very important safety tool with this contract as is.
Okay, again, is anything coming out of our budget following year, once the grant goes through? The following year, are we gonna pay for it? That's my question.
There is currently no funds from the general fund that are allocated to funding a future ShotSpotter program. No.
So it's strictly going to be through a grant that's going to be applied for and is going to be paid through the grant is what you're stating.
There is currently no line item budget of City of Opalacka funds from the general fund. We will continue with the support of Congresswoman Frederica Wilson's office to seek grant funding for any future contracts or future years for the ShotSpotter program.
Okay, thank you. I do want to say, I myself had a meeting with Congresswoman Wilson about the ShotSpotter program when it went to Congress. I do know that several cities have it and cities that are surrounding us and have testimonials that it, you know, the fact that it's deliberate and targeted to where it happened. The Shots Fired program is also where I work. It's around, it's near where I work with children. And it allows them to be very targeted when it comes to putting us on code red or anything of the nature. So I myself know that the program does work. Well, the ShotSpotter program. I am in agreement that this is something we need to do. Several millions of dollars were given to allocated through the Congresswoman for cities, urban core cities that, you know, again, sitting on different boards, these things we can't say that we're going to not support because we have to make sure that our representatives in Congress and everyone else is fighting for us and providing those grant money. And what we don't want to do is say that we don't want to accept something that they're in Tallahassee fighting for. I don't have any questions for you, but I myself do understand the program. Sat through a few of her conferences as well as other meetings with her, and it's needed in our community. So that's my take. Any other questions? All right, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 4-0.
Madam Attorney, item 15-6.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to piggyback the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for the purchase of body-worn cameras in an amount not to exceed $162,000 for the Opalacka Police Department and $14,838 for the Code Enforcement Department, and the contract form attached hereto as Exhibit A, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to discuss item 15-6?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Very much like the ShotSpotter program, this is a tool that we need to provide to our police, not only to protect them, but to protect our residents. As we understand the issues in our modern society are many when it comes to policing. And it is our intention to provide our residents the security that they require as residents for protection and safety. Is for me, the city manager, and for our commission to have this tool to have visuals on all activities where our police and our code enforcement is engaged. This is just very, very, very important that the city of Opalacka engage in having body cameras for its code enforcement and also for its police department. This particular contract initially came in 3 times higher a rate. It is to the credit of the city manager's office and the police department that we were able to negotiate this rate down by 2/3 of the original amount. So considering that we've got this great rate through the assistance of our chief of police, Chief Israel, It is my strong recommendation that we as the city of Opalacka move forward with providing body cameras to our code enforcement and our police department.
Thank you. Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes. I do recall though when we had our one-on-one meeting, Captain Rogers, I asked him how many body cameras they would have. He stated that there would be 50, if I'm not mistaken, and 2 for code enforcement. Okay. My question, I don't have a problem with this. This is a great idea to have. Because that's gonna protect the citizens and also everyone else. I just want to know, is this contract, is it going to be for 1 year or 5 years for this $162,000?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Manager.
through the mayor, it's for 5 years.
5 years, okay, that's good deal. Thank you. No, for the 5 years.
Oh.
So it's good for 5 years.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
and I do believe the commission should have copies of the contract, and if you do not, we can provide the contract again. You should have received that before your agenda briefing meeting.
Yeah, but as you can tell, it's over 1,000 pages and we got it late. So, yeah, didn't have a chance to go over it.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
Okay, also, I'm in agreement completely, totally. I just have one question. In the 4th whereas column, it says surveillance for a 4-year period. Is that a misprint?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So as Commissioner Dominguez stated, this is this contract is over 1,000 pages. If there is a misprint in it, through a scrivener's errors or any type of errors that is not in compliance.
No,
with
it's
the-
not on the contract, it's on the actual
It's
resolution.
The resolution.
That's what, it's like the 4th,
So I would,
if we're gonna vote on a 5
So-
year, that's, I just.
so I would defer to the city attorney.
Madam Attorney? So basically, I'll just, the bottom of the resolution, the last whereas
Yeah.
says 4 years instead of 5.
Madam Mayor, we'll take a look at it. I'm not sure if the first year was supposed to be included already, but we'll look at it and then if there is a scrivener's error, this resolution allows us to make that correction.
Okay, so I want to put on record, it is 5 years.
That's correct, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's what
you.
I wanted to hear. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, roll call?
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
Yes,
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
thank you. Madam Attorney, item 15-7.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to amend the agreement with RMPK Funding, Inc. to increase fee for services from $25,000 to $60,000, extending the agreement for 1 additional year and ratifying work completed under the increased services budget, providing for incorporation recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move consent agenda item 15-7?
move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as you all are aware, we rely heavily on grant services to secure some of the grants that we have utilized or the city manager has utilized to move the city forward. We just covered the grant that we just discussed the grant that we have secured for our ShotSpotter program. We've also secured recently $250,000 to support our seniors in our parks program. We're also seeking up to $10 million in additional support and grants to help fund our stormwater program, given that our stormwater program can't currently fund all of the expenditures that is required to at this time. Doing that service, and utilizing and engaging our grant writer, we had, although we presented it in the budget and the budget was approved for this expenditure, the contract had not been ratified. So we are requesting now that the city commission ratify this agreement to cover the activities that occurred with our grant writer.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Okay, so basically there's an increase of $35,000. So it was 25 and now it goes up to 35,000 a year.
Through the mayor, that is actually, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I would request that our budget administrator, Mr. Bob Anathan, come up and actually can explain some of those details for you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Bob Anathan, Budget Administrator. What occurred was, as the manager said, we did put in budget amendment. When I went to pay a bill that I received in June, I realized that I had not amended the contract. Contract is based on a per application basis. It has always had a price list where each application ranges from 2,000 up to 7,000, depending on the complexity of the budget. In the $35,000 addition was meant to be in case there were that many applications. Having talked to our city budget writer, grant writer recently, he's indicated, given that it is the latter part of September at this point, that the number will be somewhere in the range of $45,000 for the year, which would be a $20,000 increase over the contract that's in place. During that period, he has also submitted in the past month 4 different grants ranging to in total $6,500. I'm sorry, $6,500,000. So he's been very active, and it was an oversight on my part that the contract was not amended at the time the budget amendment was submitted.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Anathan,
Yes, ma'am.
and the grant company that we have has been doing an amazing job. How do we know, what's the fail safe that every year they're not going to charge us an additional 25, 30, 40,000 based off of the fact that they brought in $6 million, which is amazing, or 9 million? Is there some type of scale, maybe a sliding scale or something? If I bring in between 5 and 10, this will then increase. Because I'm just a little worried that if we start every year making increases, and just what are those based off of?
Madam Mayor,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, that is a absolutely valid concern. And just something that we absolutely looked at. The fail safe is, and I as city manager have to take responsibility for this, is that we increased our activity. At the first month that I was here in April, we had a department head meeting, and I requested all the 13 department heads secure some of their budgets with grants. So with that activity, we hit the grant writer with millions and millions of grant requests, and we just didn't keep up with ratifying the contract. But the increase is due to the fact that we are now going after more money, and it's a per grant charge. So that's kind of the activity increase beyond what our normal activity is.
Okay, so I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
So
yes, ma'am.
if there's it's almost like interest, right?
Yes.
If I am, securing this amount of grant funding, then we know, and at least that we're prepared the
Yes.
year before, that if they're going to secure a large sum of money for us, which of course we also hope that they, move into other areas like CRA or other areas securing grants over there too. We just want to make sure that, we know, have the wherewithal ahead of time, so that, and I think that's my only thing. That's, but thank you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am,
Manager.
if I may. As I said at the outset, there is a price list that hasn't changed from the time we entered into the relationship with people. So it's strictly the number of grants that we think are appropriate. He does not go forward on any grant until he's cleared with us. So if we're concerned about exceeding a budget amount, we can always stop, even though there might be an opportunity for us. It's based on the price list, which hasn't changed.
No, I totally get it.
Okay.
And I think the good thing about it is the fact that they did overextend themselves to provide this, added grants in other departments for, at least to go out and find them. So, which were not originally a part of the initial agreement. So we do appreciate that. Is
Thank you.
there any other comments, questions? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay. Okay. On to new items. Madam Clerk, if you can read item 14.1 into record.
14-1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, directing the interim city manager to budget $15,000 for fiscal year 2022-2023 for an annual Hispanic Conga-Loka Festival. Further authorizing the interim city manager to seek funding opportunities and establish partnerships for additional funding, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This item is sponsored by Vice Mayor Taylor.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So I was unfortunately not present to participate in the previous Conga-Loka festival. But considering that its importance and its timing to celebrate the Hispanic heritage, which is a significant part of our population and our residents here in the city of Opalacka, it was the position of the city manager's office that we wanted. This is a festival that we want to continue. So this item is to address that.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move and discuss the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Vice Mayor Taylor, did you?
Sure. Well, the manager said it
Yes.
all. This item is just to help with the cost of the Hispanic Heritage Festival. And it couldn't come at a better time because Hispanic Heritage Month starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So it's the staff that's looking at me. So that's why we have this item on the floor. Thank you, Madam
Okay.
Mayor.
The only friendly amendment I would like to make, I recall when it was introduced, the commission wanted to all sponsor the item as well. So I don't know if you recall. So I do want to make sure that if you're okay with that,
Oh, yeah, sure.
okay, so we're all on the record as co-sponsoring it together. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
thank you. We are on to item 16A1. Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, approving and adopting the Opalacka Community Redevelopment Agency's proposed general operating and tax increment fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1 through 2021 and ending September 30, 2022, as set forth in Exhibit A, directing the executive director or designee to transmit a copy of said budget to Miami-Dade County, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for severability, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, can you please introduce the item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we are addressing several findings from our audit with regard to our community redevelopment agency. This is an item to address one of those where a previous a copy of the budget had not been approved by the city commission as it should have been. So we wanted to address that finding directly by bringing this item before you and having you, providing you the opportunity to get this audit finding off of our books of our CRA so that we can move forward. So we request that you approve this item.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Have a motion to move and discuss agenda item 16A1,
Move it.
moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Are there any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes first reading.
thank you. Item 16B1, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opalacka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to execute a lease agreement with SFSE LLC, DBA South Florida School of Excellence to occupy space at 780 Fisherman Street, providing for adoption of representations, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for conflicts of law, providing for an effective date. First reading was held on August 22nd, 2022. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you may recall, this is our second reading for this lease agreement, which I'm very, very, very excited to bring before you for final approval. This has been a pet project of mine to address the needs of the School of Excellence that has the special needs kids. This will allow them to occupy the entire second floor, provide them with additional safety, restrict access, and provide the city of Opalacka the opportunity to better support this tenant. In exchange, we shall have the entire third floor, which will allow us to move forward with providing the residents and our commission with brand new commission chambers on the third floor. Every other city has commission chambers in its city halls where our elected officials can walk from their office to attend their city commission meetings, and our residents can actually come to City Hall to not only address their elected officials, but to address their concerns in public. So it has been one of the goals of this administration to provide our residents and our elected officials with brand new commission chambers in our City Hall. We hope to have this upon approval of this lease. We hope to have those commission chambers ready for our new commission, which will be seated in December of this year. So we respectfully request that you approve this item.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Is there any discussion?
No discussion, Madam Mayor,
Mhm.
but I will say this, I am happy to finally see this coming and we're moving forward with this. But again, I still have the question about security, making sure that the only people allowed on the second floor are people who belong on the second floor.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, please, Mr. Manager.
Yes, so that has been addressed. If you
Okay.
go into the elevators now, you'll actually see there's a place for a key card. So once they are occupying their space, we will be able to restrict who has accessibility to the second floor.
Okay,
Okay.
Further, part of the new outfit for City
Further.
Hall is as we're moving the police department to the first floor and incorporating that contract, we're also going to be installing metal detectors to better provide safety and security for our commissioners and safety and security of our public once they're in those chambers. We know that we live in very difficult times where we're subject to these kind of issues. So the city of Opalacka will be ready and prepared.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any more discussion on the item? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 4-0.
thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any resolutions
No, Madam Mayor.
at this time? Mr. Manager, your reports.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is, first, I'd like to turn over some of my time back to the commission to provide the acknowledgement of two of our officers. There are two more officers that we'd like to acknowledge and provide them with the Employee of the Month award. Unfortunately, they had to leave to address a shooting. I'm going to request that Chief Israel come up, and that the commission, I'm going to request that you provide the award to these officers. I can't say enough about, I'm excited, and this is uncommon for a city manager, but I'm excited to see our crime statistics. We've heard from our residents. Our residents have come on 3 of our commission meetings to state how they are happy about the performance of our police force. I see the numbers going down, the crime rates going down. Our police force is doing a phenomenal job. We're very excited about the work being done by this particular force, by these officers. I know them personally. I have spoke with them. I have met with them, and the work that they're doing is nothing short of phenomenal. The incident, and Vice Mayor Taylor can have the opportunity to speak to this, and Commissioner Bass, if they care to speak to this. This is real life work. And I'd like to say to our residents, safety and security can be snatched from us at any time. So to have a police force that is engaged, that is trained, that is knowledgeable, is just something that we can't shrink upon. So I turn the floor over to our commission.
The only thing I have to say about that situation is they were laughing at me and Commissioner Bass, because while they were running towards it, we were running the opposite way, because I like my life. And I like me a little more than everybody else do. So, but we congratulate you and we thank you for a job well done. Oh, no, but 1 second, I'm sorry. The mayor was supposed to do this. This is Employee of the Month certificate in honor of outstanding performance. We honor Jairo Rosario as Employee of the Month. Jairo Rosero as Employee of the Month, September 2022, this 14th day of September year 2022, and Kirby Vitale.
Madam Mayor, may I? Yes, please. I just wanted to congratulate our 2 officers along with Officer Shivern and Captain Alvarado. Kirby Vitale is currently started a bite, how do you say it? Bite canine, a canine school, that canine apprehension school, and he'll be there for 12 weeks. With his Belgian Malinois, and he gets out, will be a safer place. So we appreciate that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say during Spanish Heritage Month that our second Hispanic captain was just promoted. We're very, very proud of what you've done and where you're going to go. So Captain Hugo Alvarado. Congratulations. Well, thank you all. I'm happy to be here tonight with you guys now as the captain of the Opalacka Police Department's Patrol Division. I'm gonna do the best job that I can, give it 100%, just like in my prior position as the sergeant for the Street Crimes Unit. I'm gonna give the same passion I gave to that to this position. Thank you, guys.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So I'd like to continue with the city manager's report. I would request that all of the department heads that are in attendance currently stand. So I'd like to say to our commission, before you, you have our Mr. Ara Austin, our Director of Public Works. You have our lead and manager current for our Community Redevelopment Agency, Mr. Corian Delane. We have our Director of IT, Mr. Lubadis Dauphine, our Permanent Director of Parks, Mrs. Anya Ray, our current Director and newly appointed and newly minted Director of Finance, Ms. Naima Walker. We have our current Director of our Capital Improvement Projects, Ms. Adelina Gross, our Department Head for Community Development, Mr. Gay, our lead of our Police Department, Chief Scott Israel, our Department Head for our Building Maintenance, Mr. King Leonard, our Department Head and one of the few females in the state that is leading a Building and Licenses Department, Ms. Martha Parfait, our Department Head for our Code Enforcement, Ms. Wilma Wilcox. I wanted to give these department heads last but not least, our department head for our budget and our administrator, Mr. Bob Anathan. So I wanted to provide you all with this special opportunity to acknowledge these department heads because for the first time in the city of Opalacka, all city employees have received a performance evaluation. Yeah.
I think that deserves a standing ovation.
From day one, that was something that we promised to get done. And I'm very, very proud to say that we got it done. Yeah, thank you. Finally, we have so many projects that are moving forward in so many different departments. I would like to acknowledge some of the work that's being done by Ms. Parfait and our Building and License Department at my direction. We are going to be acknowledging, people are unaware, but we have new businesses coming into the city of Opalacka. And it is the position of the city manager and the position of my office to facilitate these businesses and to make sure that they are successful. So one of the new programs that we are going to be implementing through the city manager's office with our Building and License Department is to acknowledge new businesses, one business every month. And we're going to invite the entire commission out for grand openings for new businesses. And our first business is DC to Win, a new restaurant here in the city of Opalacka that we want to see extremely successful. So we'll be setting up a grand, we shall be setting up a a grand opening with our commissioners, with our PR department, so that we can ensure that this new business, newly minted business is welcome into the city of Opalacka by our commission and that our residents are aware of them and can support them.
You said it when?
Next Saturday,
Next Saturday.
next Saturday. And we'll be giving special invitations to the
Okay.
commission.
Okay.
Yes. We had to move it due to the funeral. So.
Do you have a time? You don't have a time. Okay.
We could just special
Okay.
announcement. Yes. We had to move it at the last minute due to the funeral services. I'm being told 2 p.m. by our department head, so 2 p.m. it is. And so I want to thank our building and license department for that. I'd like to, I'm going to forego the presentation that has been completed by our capital improvements projects department head, Ms. Gross, but I want we will provide that on an individual basis. I want and present it so for the public at a future commission for time. We want to make the commission aware of all the work that we're doing to address the issues that we are having in Commerce North, 147th and Northwest 25th Street. So in particular, yes, we are engaged with the business owners in that community, specifically the business owner that has reached out to the governor and the county mayor and our district commissioner and also the elected officials. We've been working hand in hand with not only that business, but additional businesses. We have created a multi-department task force that includes our code enforcement department, our police department, our public works department, our capital improvement projects, and also our IT department. IT department is setting up cameras and has set up cameras on some of the businesses that have complained, so they're aware that our presence is there. Public Works has been addressing the stormwater drainage with capital improvement with the cleanup, and the capital improvement projects is looking to install stormwater drainage to address the flooding. And our police department has been working with our IT department to increase patrols, and we do believe that we are probably weeks away from making a potential arrest for some illegal dumping in our city. So that would be a great success for us. And for those that would come and this business is actually a business outside of the city of Opalacka. So as city manager, to those businesses outside of the city of Opalacca that it looks to Opalacka to come here as a dumping ground, we are on the move, we are mobilized, we are monitoring, and we will catch you. And when we catch you, we will enforce the rights of the city of Opalacka to the fullest extent possible. This is something that the commission takes very seriously. And as such, this is something the city manager's office takes very clearly. We have piggybacked and incorporated the mayor's legislation on illegal dumping. We will be incentivizing with our PR firm, the residents to work with us on this task force so that as many eyes as possible can be utilized to address this issue. So I wanted to provide the commission with not the full program, but with a shortened update on the work that we're doing to address illegal dumping, particularly in the two areas that are our highest. Our highest spot is Carroll Lane, and our second highest spot is 147th Street. And 147th Street is particularly complicated because it does not have stormwater drainage. So for those that you are aware, and that and one of the elected officials actually brought me a video, and I do go out to inspect our city every single time it rains. It becomes somewhat of a monsoon, and the pictures that you can take or the videos that you can take, it actually looks like a river. So just want to keep the commission apprised, as this is something that is coming, getting addressed in the public forum, of the work that the department heads are doing collectively to address this very, very important issue. Last but not least, I do want to, as I've always directed to address the comments made in citizens forums, I do want to address the comments made by Mr. Dennis regarding our police department and some of the other issues. First, he said several times, if any information is true. He also stated, if this is true, and it is my position as city manager that we should only deal in truth. if it is not, if it is not a statement that you can verify is truth, and it could be harmful or it could be hurtful to the residents, the employees, the elected officials of this city, it is inappropriate for us to discuss it in a public forum. I've now been here for 6 months, so I can firmly say that I have achieved transparency in government here. Every meeting regardless of who it is, if possible, I have that meeting in City Hall. Therefore, there is a record of who I met with, how long I met with them, and they have to check in. There's video of that, and I leave that open. Leave that open to the public should they have any questions regarding my schedule. More importantly, at this stage, it's been 6 months now, and I can firmly say that I take every single meeting, every single one. There has not been a resident that has come to the city of Opalacka and requested a meeting with the city manager that has been turned away. So if we are, and the truth is there, I work for the city commission. I also work for the residents. So I in turn work for the residents of the city of Opalacka. If there's any information that you require, if there's any concern that you have, my office remains open. I will take a meeting with you. I will address your concerns head on. I will provide you the information, provide you access. So there should never come a time that we are attacking department heads or attacking other residents or attacking elected officials with untruths. I will provide you the information, whether it be damaging to the city or not put us in the most favorable light. You shall have access to the truth because we work for you. So the police department actually has a gossip policy that Chief Israel has dusted off and will begin to enforce. The city of Opalacka already has in place, much to my surprise, a gossip policy. I will be making some amendments to that to address that. So we recently had a departure of a department head, a long-term department head, and whose departure resulted in some of the issues that have been brought forward here. I can firmly say that none of the concerns regarding that departure or rumors or gossip are true. It's hurtful, it's malicious, and it's unnecessary. Should a single resident want to know any circumstances that are public record, I stand at the ready to provide you access to any information that you require. Okay. That concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manager. Does anyone from the commission have any questions, comments for the manager? Mr. Manager, I only wanted to go back to the illegal dumping. Mr. Anathan presented some of the points during his presentation, and these are things that came from the commission. I appreciate that you've taken the wherewithal and the foresight to hear us. It's been mentioned multiple times through the years, and that we're actually putting a targeted and deliberate plan in place when it comes to illegal dumping in our city that has plagued our city for years, and it's been talked about, but no one has actually rolled up their sleeves to get it done. So I'm excited to see the bigger picture of the plan actually come into fruition, and we're going to hold your feet to the fire if it doesn't.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Also, thank you for putting up the signs, the illegal dumping signs, the real signs. You and Ms. Lawson, I appreciate that because we did see them. And what I also know we must do in our next phase of illegal dumping, and I'll continue to probably propose items, but residential dumping. So that has to be that next phase that we're actually going to tackle, because it's a thing, and we have to look at it in a global, broader scale, and then compartmentalize it into the neighborhood scale. So of course, the, businesses and everyone else, and then right down to our residents. We do know that, we have residents that, kind of come and go and they're transient. And so we need to make sure that everyone knows our policy. And on that note, I move into my second comment that we must let our residents know what our policies are. For the 2 years I've been here, I've had several placed, I've recommended a few times. Right, Mr. Austin, I'm looking at you, right, Mr. Austin? Yeah, Mr. Austin, thank you, shaking your head, yes. For our residents must know what our new policies are, what code will they should not break, and what will happen if they break specific codes, specifically those codes that are habitual. Our residents need to know that. And again, if we have transient, we must continue to, not even continue because we haven't technically started, but we need to do mailers. I know we've talked about it a few times. We have to do these mailers. I don't know why. And I'm hoping with the new marketing team that that's going to be a part of it. But there has to be a comprehensive mailer that goes out. It can, be a one-pager newsletter. And then after that, we are reminding residents on a quarterly basis, whether it's code, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's here are your department heads. And so we just need to just keep our residents engaged. And that's something that we need to make sure we're doing. So I hope that somebody was taking good notes so that we can ensure that those happen in the near future. Anyone?
Absolutely. We're already, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we're already on it. We have been, the city manager's office, along with our community development office, along with the city attorney, has already been working on legislation that you've proffered regarding open storage. The city attorney has made some recommendations and suggestions to take a more holistic look at it in the manner that you just suggested, and we are moving forward to get that done and hope to have that to you soon. I'd also like to say, not having a PR firm has just been a hindrance to communication to our residents. And as we really have done our residents a disservice by not being able to provide them the communication that they require of their government. We are addressing that now that we've had our first meeting with our PR firm. We have our second meeting with our PR firm tomorrow. We are working on a City of Opalacka, as Commissioner Dominguez has brought forward to us, a City of Opalacka newsletter that will be available to our residents for provide the city manager, the elected officials, and our department heads an opportunity to inform the residents of what's going on. We are going to continue to invite them to workshops for code enforcement. We are looking at potentially having those code enforcement workshops more frequently, more than once a year, to address those same concerns. So we are on the same page, we are in compliance, and we're on the move.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
Well, Madam Mayor covered everything. It's just one thing that came up in citizens forum that was not addressed, which is the train tracks. That was an issue that was brought up before. And the potholes, we'll reach out to Ms. Mitchell to introduce her to the C-Click Fix app that she can take a picture of it and send it to us. But the train tracks, can we reach out to DOT for that issue? Okay.
Absolutely. I was going to have that conversation with Ms. Mitchell one-on-one, but unfortunately, we as the city of Opalacka do not have authority or control over the train tracks. So at this stage, all we can do is report, and do follow-ups, which we're continuing to do. And as soon as we get information, we can provide that information to her. But at this stage, all we can do is report to the DOT that these train tracks need to be repaired. Should the repairs become a health and safety issue, I will then be able to escalate it up to department heads. So that's what we're considering doing. Mr. Austin is looking at that as we speak.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Yes, this is, regarding also Ms. Mitchell. Um, she stated about the train tracks, about the painting of houses. I do recall that in the past, and I know Shameka was here and where I requested, and even the commission, where whenever a resident will come forth regarding questions, that by the next commission meeting, there was information at the table which would answer their questions. So that way they won't feel like we're not answering their questions or they're being ignored. So I know Shameka recalls that. You remember, right? Yeah, okay. So if we can continue doing that, that way they'll know that they've been heard and their question has been answered in the following meeting, which we used to put it at the table, but for some reason it stopped. Thank you.
So the current procedure, we can absolutely look to accommodate that. The reason why I had not moved that, I didn't, first, I wasn't aware that that was something that was done prior to my administration coming forward. However, some of the issues are so personal to those residents. What we do, as you may see right now, Mr. Ellis, our assistant city manager, he is tasked with every resident that comes forward with a concern is to meet with them before they leave this facility, get their contact information. And our office actually creates a log what the complaint is, when it came in on an Excel spreadsheet, and the date that it was addressed. We shall continue to do that, and we can provide that information to the public as well, if it be the will of the commission.
I would like to see it because it gives them a sense that they're being heard, because a lot of them leave and then they come to the next meeting and their question was never answered. And before, we were able to answer their questions right then and there when they would come up to the podium, but that was changed. So if we can do that, if it's something personal, then yes, by all means, you can contact the resident, personally. But if it's a question regarding an issue or anything to that effect, I think it's something that should be answered. So they'll know that their question was heard and not just falling deaf ear.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Clerk, any official board reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Any future agenda items?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Bass.
I would like for us to take a look at the closing
talk?
hours
I can't.
I would like for us to take a look at the closing hours of some of our establishments. The ones that provide family environment over the weekend. I was speaking with one of our business owners, and her concern was because of the time of closing, she's losing business. And I don't want our business partners in the city of Opalacka to lose business because of the hour that we have in our code for closing. I just want us to revisit it and just take a look at it and see if it's something that we might want to adjust by extra hour, maybe hour and a half. I just don't want our businesses to suffer, those that are not making it now financially. And I'm not talking about maybe the bars or whatever. I'm talking about the family friendly environment where you can go and get something to eat, listen to some music, and you're good. So I just want us to take a look at the closing hours of some of our businesses.
Okay. Can I have a motion to move the future agenda item?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
before we vote
Okay.
on it, I need to get a better understanding. We're talking about, when you say family friendly places, what time does she close it? Well, whoever this person is, what time do they close?
I believe at 11.
We have an ordinance that says businesses have to close their businesses at 11 o'clock.
Yes. If they're serving alcohol,
If they're serving alcohol, yeah, that's what I figured.
yes.
If they're serving alcohol, so her business is a restaurant or club or?
It's
You
a
said family
restaurant.
friendly.
Yeah, but it's a restaurant. Yeah.
So If I'm, Madam Mayor,
Yes, please.
if I may, what I'd like to provide the commission is a report and analysis where we make
Yeah.
recommendations
Yeah.
to the commission
Yeah.
for potential amendments for certain businesses. Our concern, of course, is if we pass if you pass a resolution or ordinance that changes the law across all businesses, that could become problematic. As I stated, there are businesses that we are looking, particularly the city manager's office and the building and license department are looking to support. So we are friendly to making adjustments for those businesses that will help their viability. We'd just like to provide you the information you can utilize to make some informed decisions on legislation.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Any other future agenda items?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
okay. It's a simple, I thought it was simple, a simple item that I thought was pretty interesting. Another city adopted this and I thought there's something that we can do in Opalacka. During their beautification campaign, what they did was they purchased pressure cleaners and allowed the residents to rent them out in order to pressure clean their sidewalks, pressure clean their driveways, in order to push beautification, the beautification campaign in that city. Is that something that Opalacka can adopt?
That is absolutely the kind of recommendations that I, as city manager, am looking from the commission with regard to the requested ARPA workshop that we could actually fund from our beautification program. So I will be sending out some official list
Okay.
because we are fully funded on our ARPA. I had pulled down 3.8 million from our ARPA funds and recently pulled down the additional 3.8 million. So we are fully funded from the federal government for our ARPA funds. We are ready to mobilize. We are looking to schedule the ARPA workshop, which will be for the residents to come and make recommendations. We will proffer suggestions to you about how that money can be spent to better the city of Opalacka. We will take that. We will take your recommendations back to the city commission for approval, but we are ready to go. And absolutely, we shall include that.
Okay.
Can I piggyback you real quick on that? Thank you for bringing that up. Back in May, if you recall, Chris, I suggested a beautification day. It just kind of died. Yes, and I figured May, that's when flowers bloom and, that's a great time for people to be out in their yards. Summer is, of course, is too hot. We may be back in a good space. I don't know, somewhere in April, in that springtime months again. But I would like because I think that's a great piggyback within that whole beautification day that I wanted to do in conjunction with Lowe's and Home Depot, and of course, with our neighboring nursery right here in front of Opalacka Airport that I know we do as a city patronize. So I think that during that ARPA meeting, we need to make sure that, that we bring that up and that we just really establish and bucket list I had to look at him because he loves when what we would like to see during that beautification day. And I love that idea of pressure cleaning and just everything. And then maybe even having our residents tell us in some form of survey what they would like to see during this beautification day or even a week, beautification week, right? So I'm gonna stop because I can go on and on about this.
Actually, Madam Mayor, you stole a little bit of my thunder. I was going to share with you that what we're looking at. Indeed, but you had a beautification day.
I did.
I'm excited to share with you that what we're looking to proffer for consideration by our residents is a beautification week. And we're looking for May of 2023 during the week of our anniversary. So it'll be the 97th year. There will be activities every day for every single resident to participate to make Opalacka beautiful. That will be supported by the city of Opalacka with the ARPA funds.
I'm gonna throw something else in that. Every single day have that commissioner. So like, if Monday,
Yes.
today is the day that you're gonna do this, so like every commissioner has
That's an
that thing.
opportunity.
Of course, I love flowers, so I say flowers, but you know, everything
Yeah.
paint and everything that we have been saying up here for the entire year. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, we're on it.
And I have one more.
Wait, was that a future agenda item? Though?
I know, I'm
Because we
sorry.
didn't-
One more thing, Madam Mayor, we didn't vote on Commissioner Bass's item.
I thought
No,
would
you
bring it
said you
back.
were going to bring it back with
No, no, no,
With the
information.
report, yes.
So Commissioner Bass, did you want to amend, table it until we get the report?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, so we'll table.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One more, as it relates to the future agenda items itself. We need to put in place a timeline, because I know we have the future agenda item, but we need a timeline because there are a lot of things, I told you before, that are on the future agenda item list that we have not seen come before this commission. So I want us to put together a timeline that says maybe the manager has with 2 commission meetings to bring that agenda item before the commission. Because things were voted on and then got lost in the shuffle. So
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So, from inception, on April 6th, when I entered this chair, getting hit with a list of, requests for status on 12 different future agenda items where, I had to do the backup work to determine what's the status, what was voted upon, where we're at. And I know the city clerk's office does a lot of work on this, and we're struggling with the city attorney's office. And so I've spent a lot of time trying to make a determination of how can we fix this. And what I'd like to proffer to the commission is Mr. Aneth and I are looking at doing a budget amendment to fund a legislative aid to the commission that will be on top of future agenda items for every single member of the commission. That is something that I'm looking to bring for your approval so that every single future agenda item has someone that's going to be doing the backup, that can be tracking it, that can be engaged with the city clerk's office, the city attorney's office, the city manager's office, so that anything from, because every single, the questions come before the city managers, but some items need to commence in the city clerk's office. Some items need to commence in the city attorney's office. Sometimes all the city manager's office is going to do is provide a agenda cover memo that I sign. So it's, and so oftentimes we have been really struggling to stay on top of this future agenda items. So we want to, as a solution, through the mayor to the vice mayor, I'd like to make the recommendation that you allow the city manager's office to proffer this budget amendment that will provide for you a legislative aid that will be on top of your future agenda items.
I'm fine with that, but that's future, but present, that's that's the issue. So I just don't want things, because there was some legislation by all of my colleagues that were proper beginning of this year and has never come before this commission. And it's some with you sitting, some with the previous, and some with the one before. So, and like I said before, and this is no shade to anybody that sits up here, the only people up here that's sponsoring legislation is the manager. And again, it's no, I'm not throwing you under the bus or saying anything negative, but we were elected to legislate. So I just want us to do what we were elected to do. If that.
So, absolutely.
I just want to.
So that's why I would like to, part of why I take on the interim position is to set the ship aright so that when your full-time city manager comes in and is seated here, that things are in place. So I would prefer to allow you to legislate, that we provide you a legislative aid rather than do a temporary fix. We will act upon this immediately. We are ready to go. I can have it ready to you by September 20. I can have it ready to you for your approval by September 28th.
Okay.
Absolutely. But there are a lot of things that we're doing to try to fix things that are broken rather than fix the thing that's broke. So is the appropriate channel is for you all to have a legislative aid so that you can legislate. It is generally not department heads or the city manager's position to provide you with legislation. So,
Okay.
yes.
So, let me go back. So you had two items. Are you gonna table them until Mr. Manager?
No, well,
Or are you,
the one about the beautification, we're gonna do it together with the beautification, beauty. Think Opalacka.
That will be in the ARPA
Beauty-
workshop.
that-
ARPA
absolutely.
that
workshop?
one, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, are
But
you,
this one, I just want
Yeah.
reassurance that what the commission asked for,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll pull back, but I just. Yeah.
Madam Mayor,
yes,
can I comment on that? And I think one of the issues sometimes that comes up is we draft the legislation. We don't have a problem doing that. But what you all have to get for each piece of legislation is a staff report and a recommendation from the city manager. And so there is a process. There's a process that's outlined by ordinance as to how items are supposed to come before you all. We don't necessarily, it's great if you have a legislative aid. I don't know what the job responsibilities are going to be. I think, we'll still probably end up doing the work, but what you really need is you need to have items that are budgeted for. You need to have items that are, know clearly when you vote on future agenda items and they come back to you, where that money is going to come from, where it's going to be the general fund, or is it a line item, something out of a department budget, those type of things. That's not what we do. So that has to be clear. And so the whole point of the future agenda items, when you all passed it and Commissioner Bass championed it, was so that you'd have time to kind of get that information together and be able to, do the research in the background so you can bring it up. So, I throw that out there. So I don't know that a legislative aid is going to address all of it. But certainly I think maybe that person can do some of the research that's necessary to, if it's research in terms of looking at other cities and what kind of things are being done to compare and see whether or not it would work in Opalacka. That may be the kind of thing that the manager has in mind for the legislative aid, as opposed to legislation, I guess.
yes.
And I don't know that we're disagreeing, so Mr. Williams, we don't have to go back and forth. I'm just giving my opinion from the legal standpoint, because you said something like we struggle with the city attorney. I guess you meant we working together, trying to get things done. Okay, hopefully, thank you. And so what I'm telling you from my standpoint is, you all need more, you need to give more guidance when you say you want to do things. You should give us more guidance so that we can properly prepare to bring things back to you all with enough information that will, be a little clearer. So even if on the front end, when you have ideas, if you have an idea as to where the item came from, or like somebody mentioned tonight, another city is doing something, we can go and find out how that reads in their ordinances, whether it differs from what Opalacka is doing, whether it, it makes sense for your city. But we really do need a little bit more information sometimes when you're, bringing items up as a future agenda item. And I'm not talking about you, Vice Mayor. I'm just.
No, it's not that. It's just, it didn't warrant the whole. My point is, we just need reasonable time that it comes back, not months and months and months and months and months and months. The same amount of time that it takes for you all to draft the legislations that you proffer and bring towards us, just give us the same courtesy and respect. That's all we're asking. That's what I'm asking. So and a lot of the items that we do bring to you all, I provide information, and I also provide where I got it from, and so that's been done. And there was future agenda items that were proffered from my colleagues that were great ideas towards beautification, and we have not seen it yet. And that was, like I said, last year. So by this time, we should have had, something, and then it just get lost in the wind. No, and we have to ask for it. It doesn't, then you all send us a report saying, these are the future agenda items.
Well, when you say y'all, we don't control that for legal.
I'm just saying, it comes to us,
Okay.
these are the
All
future
right.
agenda items.
Okay.
Then the next week, these are the future agenda items. But when are we gonna see the future agenda items come before us? That's all I'm saying. So if the manager needs time to work the process, the new process, I'm willing to do it. I just want to make sure that what we're proffering or what the commission is asking for is being, worked on, if you will. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Not to beat a dead horse. There are times that it's disheartening. It feels disheartening when we have 15 and 20 agenda items from staff, maybe more. Great job, but I know those items took a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of pre and post and back and forth between multiple departments, including the city attorney. I know myself and again, others up here, this is not our job. We are public servants. And so we are on top of what our day-to-day jobs are. We're also doing the research, getting the information, sending it out. But I have to say it. Everyone knows our job as elected official is to move our city forward through legislation. That's top. Not to make friends, not to slander, not to do all the other frivolous stuff that people think we do, but that's our job. Make legislation to move our city forward. And so sometimes when we don't, it takes months and weeks and months to see our one little item. It's just like, it becomes a little disheartening because it almost makes it feel like others' items are more important than ours. And that's just the feel. And I just had to say that. I had to put that on record because that is the truth. And we all have items. I know Commissioner Bass, I gotta jump in and say this because I always think about, her legislation with the street naming of Commissioner Burke. I've not heard anything about that. Where is it going? What are we doing? What's happening? So it's like, there are so many things that are just kind of, passing through the wind. And I totally understand what you're saying, Vice Mayor Taylor. So I'm guessing you're going to pivot and allow the manager, but I just wanted you to hear my cry because it is a cry. It really is.
I understand.
Thank you.
I understand, Madam Mayor, and we
I don't-
are working. We are working. It is also extremely difficult when, and I have to defend, I have to fall on the sword and protect the department heads. Because when I told them to address, future agenda items, I put a date that I want them to look back. And then they complied with that. And we started working on a list of future agenda items, completely unaware that there's a whole list from last year that never got moved upon. And so now we're trying to figure out, okay, how far do we go back? What's been moved upon? What's the status? What's the update? And currently there is no position in the city that is responsible for that. So the solution, I believe, is having a position that is responsible for that. And to also do what the city attorney recommended, sometimes even to help you advise you on how to proffer that legislation. We've had some dust ups, I'll say, or even fisticuffs regarding some previous legislation where it wasn't clearly understood that this is how this legislation directs the city manager to fund this item. And if that not be the will of the commission or not what was intended, how do we address that through a process? So I am recommended this person so that he can support the city manager to make sure that you do what you were elected to do, and that's legislate.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it's pretty clear. Any other future agenda items? Okay. We're now on to mayor and commission reports.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I do have
Oh,
the
yes, I'm so
announcement.
sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Madam Attorney.
Thank you. Appreciate that. During the break that you all had, a number of different litigation issues advanced, and we need to report on those things and report back to you all and seek advice on a couple of them. We are looking to try to set a meeting with you all on this Friday for executive session meetings. We're hoping that everybody is clear at 5:30. And I want to go ahead and announce, I'm hoping that works for you all at 5:30 this Friday. Can you please try? Is there no way? Okay.
And I believe
Well-
I believe I know the wake is Friday.
Will any time earlier in the day work on Friday? Because it's critical. I'm trying to express, and I have to give 24-hour notice, so it can't be, tomorrow. It has to be at the earliest Friday, and I really need at least 3 of you, or at least a majority of you, to be present for executive sessions. I did mention it, I think, to the mayor. But I do need, if possible, please, we really need, we actually have a one case that is in trial and we need to report on it. So Friday at 5:30, would moving it back to 6 o'clock work better? 6:30, starting at 6:30.
Yeah, that's even more.
That's worse. Okay. Could we do it? We could even do it in the morning if that works. Could a morning session work?
How's 5 o'clock for everyone? What are we giving it, an hour?
Probably like maybe I could squeeze it into an hour if I have to. I just have to rework the times.
Okay, because I remember at the last meeting, I mentioned a shade meeting. Having a shade meeting. So I didn't want
We
to
actually
get
have to, we actually have to announce it. And so this is the first meeting to announce a meeting.
No, I know. I'm saying, I mentioned that we should have a shade meeting, and that was when we were talking about PBA. No one, okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
Because we needed another
We've been
meeting.
on break. And
Okay.
so now we're back and things have advanced and I
So
need
it's
to
a special
report to you.
commission
Yes.
meeting. Yeah.
Right. So did you say 5 o'clock, Madam Mayor?
Well, I was asking,
She can't do 5:30. I could do 5.
I'm sorry. I can't
I
hear
can
you.
do
all.
5.
5 o'clock. Okay. All right. Let me adjust the times just really quickly here.
But
And-
Madam Attorney, the only thing is, I believe this room is, so we need. to
Yeah, we
move
were
it.
going to announce at a different place. Yes, sir. Okay, so 5 o'clock. All right. Notice is hereby given that a private closed door attorney-client session pursuant to section 286.011 Florida statutes will be held in the commission chamber will be held at 780 Fisherman Street, Opalacka, in the city clerk's conference room on the 4th floor of City Hall on Friday, September 16th at 5 o'clock for the purpose of the following pending litigation items. 5 o'clock, City of Opalacka versus Opalacka Community Development Corporation, Inc., case number 2021-010170 CA01. The attorneys to be present will be announced at the end of all of the readings. At 5:30, the case of Lakeview Apartments LLC and LLC Lakeview Apartments versus Miami-Dade County and the City of Opalacka, case number 2020-001124 CA-01. At 6 o'clock PM, City of Opalacka, Florida versus Jerome Wilson et al. This is case number 2021-021307 CA01. And at 6:30, the case of Universal Waste Services versus City of Opalacca, case number 17-001268 CA-01. The following individuals will attend these closed door sessions: Mayor Williams, Vice Mayor Taylor, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Dominguez, Interim City Manager Darvin Williams, and City Attorneys Bernadette Norris Weeks, City Attorney, Assistant City Attorney Shalon McWhorter, Michelle Austin Pammies, Candace Cobb, and outside counsel Pedro Basant, and on the record court reporting services. Thank you all.
Welcome. In your announcement, I heard you say 6:30. Do you
There
think
are
it's going to
four.
go past 6:30?
There are four, and I gave them
Okay.
all 30 minutes. If you want me to do it shorter, I can do 15 minutes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, for all of them. All
Thank
right,
you.
let's try that. Let me reread the announcement as required by Florida statutes, section 286.011 Florida statutes will be held in the commission in the 780 Fisherman Street in the city clerk's conference room on the 4th floor on Friday, September the 16th at 5:00 p.m. with the case starting City of Opalacka versus Opalacka Community Development Corporation, Inc., case number 2021-010-170-CA-01 at 5:15 Lakeview Apartments LLC and LLC Lakeview Apartments versus Miami-Dade County and the City of Opalacca, case number 2020-001-124 CA-01 at 5:45 City of Opalacca, Florida versus Jerome Wilson et al. Case number 2021-021307 CA-01, and at 6:00, right? No, I mean, sorry. At 6:00, the last one would be case number would be Universal Waste Services versus City of Opalacca, case number 17-001268-CA-01. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Commission report?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
Thank you. On Saturday, September 10th, the city was invited by Mystic Force Foundation to be part of their 5th annual Childhood Cancer Police Car Parade at Nicholas Children's Hospital, Opalacka. Police did participate in the parade. A proclamation was given where the city of Opalacca joins the Mystic Foundation in recognizing September as National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We honor those children whose lives have been lost. They were really excited. I mean, they had so many police departments there with so many different cars. I was taking pictures and the children were waving from the window. We had a couple of that came down. That were really happy to see all these superheroes that were there. I mean, it was a great event. I truly, truly enjoyed it. And I thank, this organization for including us. I brought a poster board, so I'm gonna bring it to the city so we can have it here. Because it's the month, and if, we can work just a yellow ribbon in memory of those children that have lost their lives due to cancer. Another item, I just wanted to bring about, regarding preparation of the agenda. I know that the requests for placing items in the city commission agenda by the mayor, commissioner, department heads, and any other party must be submitted to the city manager for fiscal impact analysis by no later than 12 p.m. on Monday. Monday, 12 business days prior to the regular commission scheduled meeting. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that I have noticed that the clerk's office staff are staying late on Fridays, trying to print and distribute this to the commission. And I don't think it's fair that, they have to stay late. I mean, they were here Friday to 10 o'clock p.m. So that means that the agenda is late for us. And maybe the next day is when we see it. And, this one here is like 1,000 pages. So by the time we get it, it takes us a lot of time. So I'm not sure where is the issue, but I think that we need to really work together as far as giving it to the clerk's office on the time that it's supposed to be and not add stuff at the last minute because, it just creates a lot of, problems to them as far as them being here late and they have families and they want to enjoy their families on a Friday night while we're home, maybe watching a movie or something. So just be, mindful of the rest of the staff. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Just want to make two announcements. The first one, Saturday, September 24th, I partner with Empowering Youth, Inc. to present a health and wellness fair here from Shabundi Village from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everyone is welcome. We will have over 20 vendors, as well as a free dental van here providing dental services to residents. Once again, Saturday, September 24th. And it is still available for vendors that would like to participate. Next, our favorite, specifically Vice Mayor Taylor, hopefully he will bring out his red suit again. Wednesday, October 12th at 7 p.m., we will have our second Delta Days in the city of Opalacka. We will welcome, I know you weren't here, Mr. Manager, but we had over 200 my sorority sisters of Delta Sigma Theta present. It is expected to be larger and larger. As you know, we go to cities in our surrounding areas, as well as our school board, because our school board members also Delta as well. So we're excited for that. Once again, come out to Delta Days here at in the city of Opalacka, 7 p.m. Anyone else? And I red suit again.
I can't fit it.
Oh. Okay. Any official board appointments?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we received the email for board appointments. So I'll make one or two. For the Planning Council, Aldo Mata. And my appointment that we also received, I don't know. I think her name is Magdala Cherry for the for Community Relations and Recreation Activity Board. Those are the two, right?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So for the Planning and Zoning Board, that's an at-large appointment, and Mr. Aldo Mata is applying as a real estate professional. And it's at large, so I guess that's being moved by Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And we would need a vote, a second
Okay.
and a vote on that appointment.
Second.
Second. It's been moved and second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. And Vice Mayor Taylor is appointing Magdala Cherry to the Community Relations Board. And also Commissioner Bass has an individual appointment, Jocelyn Ferguson, to the Housing Authority and Nuisance Abatement Board, and those two are individual appointments.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
Their phone number is. I've received the appointment. I'm down for any resident that want to participate on boards. Their phone numbers are here so that we can reach out to them to meet them. I saw 800.
Yes, it should
800
be on the
number.
application. There should be both an email address and a telephone number.
Okay, only saw it's an 800 number. That's why I asked. But okay,
There's
Thank
the
you.
800 number.
But I think it's 954.
There's also a cell phone number, Vice Mayor.
Yeah. Okay. If there is nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Mayor,
Yes. Oh,
just want to provide you this item hot off the presses.
Okay,
Our police department has made an arrest in the residential area for illegal dumping.
very nice. Thank you. Thank you. And once again, we want to congratulate everyone, all the employees of the month. We are excited to see the employee of celebration happen each month we come to commission meeting. Again, we celebrate all of our employees, our residents, just the entire city. We see our city moving forward, and we're so excited to continue to go down this upward trajectory. Did I say that? Trajectory. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion Vice Mayor Taylor, second by
Commissioner Bass.
Second. Commissioner Bass. We are adjourned.